2018 has already been a stellar year for the PlayStation 4 with games such as Dragon Ball FighterZ, Monster Hunter World. We've already seen a lot of heavy hitters and games that have absolutely delivered. However, along with those games, there have been a few games released that have been really good. However, they've unfortunately gone really under the radar. And now that we're over 2 months into 2018, we want to take a look at some of the more underrated games of this year so far. Games you might have not even heard of, but games that you should absolutely check out some point down the line. We've got 6 games to go over, and this is definitely going to be a series we'll keep updated. We do have 2 PlayStation VR titles on this list as well, so with that being said, let's get right into this. Crossing Souls. Crossing Souls is set in 1986 California. A group of friends discover a mysterious pink stone that allows to travel between 2 realms. The game touts the friends living the summer of their lives in an adventure that will get them involved in a government conspiracy. Right away, looking at Crossing Souls, aesthetically speaking, it has a very unique presentation style, something similar to what you would have seen in the 80s, and it's definitely inspired by that. There's real-time combat, great puzzles, and powerful bosses, so this is a game I would highly recommend to add to your wish list. Maybe at full price it isn't absolutely worth it, but some point down the line I feel like this is a unique experience that everybody should try out. Iconoclast. Iconoclast was a game we've actually been talking about for a little bit, and it combines combat on a 2D plane with solving environmental puzzles using the main character's wrench. It's got some cool gameplay elements, and reviews for the game have been very good. The story centers around the main character Robin, a naive and helpful mechanic. She lives in a world with a sinister religious authority, and they've taken over the government and allows only licensed mechanics to handle the power source called Ivory that drives its machines. Again, this is a game I would highly recommend to keep on your wish list, and whenever you see a discount on it, grab it. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. Digimon games for a very long time didn't make much of an impact over here in the States. However, since 2016's Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, we've been seeing more Digimon games be released. And earlier this year, we saw Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. This is a follow-up to Cyber Sleuth, and what you're gonna notice if you played Cyber Sleuth is that Hacker's Memory is a lot more of the same. That's not necessarily a bad thing, since the content in Cyber Sleuth was serviceable. However, you would have liked to see a little bit more originality out of Hacker's Memory. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of new content as well. You've got all the Digimon that were present in the first game, as well as 92 additional Digimon, and it does have new areas and maps as well, but some of those maps are directly from the first game. If you enjoyed Cyber Sleuth, if you want a monster collecting experience on the PlayStation 4, this is a great one, and hopefully Digimon games continue to be a staple to the PlayStation 4's library. It's a good subset of games. It has potential to be a good subset of RPGs. FE. FE was a game that was actually getting quite a bit of attention prior to its release, not say comparatively speaking to some of the other juggernauts that have been released this year, but for a smaller indie-like title, it was gaining a little bit of traction. However, after its release, talk about FE really just went away, and the game itself is an action-adventure game where you play a fox-like creature with a forest that is highly responsive to the songs of the creatures and planets within it. Just looking at it, it gives you vibes of a title like Ori and the Blind Forest, and that game was excellent. FE isn't quite up to that quality standard, however, it is a good game in its own right, and it is published by EA's new initiative. I know EA is not the most popular publisher in the world, but games like this, I think it's great to support them. And the game itself has been compared to a lot of excellent titles such as Journey and Shadow of the Colossus. However, after hearing that, you might expect something absolutely incredible, and to that, I would say temper your expectations a little bit, but it is a very good game.
That's how the story goes. The story of the beast with those 4 dirty paws. To fly and to fly. Do you hear her? Can you hear the forest speak?
Finally, we want to mention a couple of PlayStation VR titles. I know a lot of you guys picked up PlayStation VR, whether you picked it up on launch or in the last year where there have been a lot of discounts available, but to many, the games lineup is still a little bit sparse, but there were already a couple of interesting titles released this year. First, we have Apex Construct, which has you travel to the shattered future of the world of Apex Construct, and there, merciless robots prowl the world as a result of mankind's reckless experiments. It's got a really gorgeous post-apocalyptic setting, and usually with post-apocalyptic settings, you don't associate colorful and vibrance, but that's really what you're getting out of Apex Construct. And with the combination of a bow and arrow and shield, it adds a layer to the PlayStation VR gameplay, and games like Apex Construct really strive on PSVR, and I much prefer games like this that were built for PlayStation VR rather than titles that just have it tacked on. Apex Construct really gets that element right. And overall, it's just a pretty good game. Finally, we also have Moss. Moss is a very charming adventure PSVR game. You navigate through various environments and battle a lot of enemies, and there's also environment manipulation that you'll have to do to solve puzzles, and it's just a very charming game. No, this isn't gonna absolutely engross you, and it's not that immersive VR experience that I think a lot of us are still hoping for, but with titles like Moss, with titles like Apex Construct, you can slowly but surely see the quality of VR experiences go higher and higher, and Moss really does stand out as a pretty good VR title. Once again, I don't think it hits that excellent tier, but a game that's worthwhile checking out on a sale if you do have PSVR.
Your bond with Quill grows strong, and the journey you take.
So that is going to wrap up this video. These 6 games, while they might be smaller titles, while they might not be as good as some of the other games released this year, like a Monster Hunter World or a Dragon Ball FighterZ, they are great games in their own right. And I'm not saying you should jump out and buy these games at full price, but keep an eye on them, and if you see them discounted, and if you want that unique experience that a lot of these games offer, well then I would definitely say pick them up. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.